Ferreira Gullar, born José Ribamar Ferreira in São Luís, Maranhão, in 1930, was one of Brazil's most influential poets. Goulart was also an essayist, art critic, and playwright, and one of the founders of the neo-concrete movement, which advocated for a freer and more experimental form of art. His work is deeply connected to Brazil's social and political issues, especially during the military dictatorship, which forced him into exile in various Latin American countries. Dirty Poem, written in 1975, is one of Gullar's most emblematic works, composed while he was in exile in Argentina. Dirty Poem is a long poetic composition that reflects Gullar's anguish during his exile. He wrote the poem in Buenos Aires, at a time when he feared for his life due to the political repression in Brazil. The poem blends personal memories, reflections on his hometown São Luís, scenes of poverty, and sharp critiques of the political context. Throughout the text, Goulart revisits his childhood and adolescence, using visceral language and imagery to symbolize disorder and chaos as he attempts to capture the harsh reality of the world. The work is an introspective journey where the poet exposes his feelings of loneliness, fear, and longing. It also serves as a critique of oppression and social inequality. The dirty in the title refers both to the brutal reality of Brazil under military dictatorship, marked by violence and social injustice, and to the chaotic stream of consciousness that characterizes the poem. The text disregards traditional poetic form or meter, reflecting Gullar's urgency in expressing his emotions and anguish. The significance of Dirty Poem extends beyond its literary complexity. It was considered a cry of resistance during a time of censorship and repression in Brazil. Smuggled out of Argentina, the poem reached Brazil before Gullar's return, being read in clandestine intellectual gatherings. Dirty Poem stands not only as one of the great poetic achievements of Brazilian literature but also as a manifesto for freedom, against oppression, and in favor of memory and cultural identity. To conclude, here are the 5 main characteristics of Dirty Poem by Ferreira Gullar. Fragmented and chaotic narrative, the poem blends personal memories, social criticism, and philosophical reflections in a non-linear, dynamic, and visceral structure. Political context and exile, written during Gullar's exile, the poem reflects the fear and anguish of living under a dictatorship, giving the work a tone of political resistance and social denunciation. Visceral language, Goulart uses raw and realistic language, breaking away from traditional poetic forms and meters to reflect the dirt and chaos of life and politics during that time. Memory and identity, the poem combines autobiographical elements, especially memories of Gullar's childhood in São Luís, with nostalgia and longing, exploring the poet's roots. Social critique, Dirty Poem denounces Brazil's social injustices, portraying poverty, violence, and inequality while critically examining the political and social realities during the dictatorship. This was our summary of the book Dirty Poem by Ferreira Gullar. We hope it helped.